old, and she's a little girl that we were working on self-confidence, and we're doing the self-confidence package. And so just a little bit of background was we had our first coaching session, which was about Canville and Can'tville, and she learned about having an I can mindset and what self-confidence is. And that was on a Thursday. And then the following Monday, we had a session on how the conscious and the subconscious mind works. Well, it turns out after the end of the session where we did Who's Flying Your Plane, and she learned that skill, I learned from her mom that she had had a really difficult experience that morning at swimming lessons. So little Miss 5.5 knows how to swim. She's been doing swimming lessons for quite a long time, but it's the school holidays, and that Monday morning was the first day of an intensive, every single day swimming lesson. So it was a different teacher. It was a chaotic, noisy environment. And so things were really, really different for her. And this little girl had a meltdown and refused to swim and was really, really upset. So apparently, on the way home, her mom was able to remind her about Canville, and that helped calm her down, which was really good. But after this second coaching session, and I learned this story, I decided to give her a little sneak peek at coaching session number 3 in the Confident Kids package, which is where she learns about neural pathways and why her mind, what the situation's going on in her mind, how if she's doing something new, she doesn't have any neural pathways for it. And that's why you can feel a little bit nervous or anxious or afraid. And so I gave her a little sneak peek explaining that before that swimming lesson, she didn't have any neural pathways for what that swimming lesson was going to be like. And so when she went in, it's no wonder that she felt the grungies and that she was upset. But I said to her that now that she had been to the swimming lesson, she'd already started laying down the foundation or the path for a neural pathway. And so I also went and I got her a little sparkly wand, and I suggested to her that she use that little wand and just remind herself that she's got the neural pathways before she goes swimming. Well, so the very next morning, I happened to live where I could see her walk by. I saw her confidently walking by and smiling on her way to swimming lessons. So I thought, ooh, maybe this is going to work out. And sure enough, her mom sent me a text afterwards saying that she had swum, and she did everything that they were going to do in the class. And she came back so happy, and she was so proud of herself. And her mom said that she was so proud of her little girl, she just felt like crying. I mean, it was really beautiful. And then she got in and swam the next day and the next day. And so that was such a huge thing. But here's part 2 of the story that I haven't shared yet, is that in our first coaching session, when we do Canville and Can'tville, one of the activities is to set a stretch goal. And the stretch goal that this little girl set was to swim in the ocean, in the waves. So what I didn't know, and I didn't find out until the end of our 4th session, was that one of the reasons why she was afraid to swim in the ocean was that she had been in her mother's arms when her mom had been dumped really badly by a wave. And so her mom had held her up high, Simba style, free of the waves and everything. But the mom got really dumped and, was quite shaken and had sand and shells and everything all over her. And so that was quite traumatic for her. And interestingly, because she had made so much progress with these swimming lessons, we didn't really revisit that ocean swim goal directly in the coaching sessions, but apparently it was still in her mind, because today I walked outside and this little girl came up and she had just swam in the ocean for the first time. She actually 2 days before had swum in an ocean pool, which is kind of like a pool that's cut into the ocean. Here in Australia, we have these ocean pools, but she hadn't gone near the waves. But today she actually swam in the ocean, put her full body in, saw fish. She was so excited. And it was really neat because I didn't know she was still thinking about that goal, and we hadn't wanted to push her when we found out about this trauma. We thought, okay, let's not worry about that at this point. But on that very first session at Canville and Can'tville, I had shown her a little medal that I was going to give her when she did her stretch goal. And so as soon as she told me she swam the ocean, I ran and I got the little medal and I came back and gave it to her, and she was so excited. And, it's just amazing because the mom is so excited because the family loves going to the beach, and now they can get in together and swim together, and it just opens up a world of possibilities for her. But mainly this little girl has learned that she can do things outside her comfort zone and stretch and grow confident. And